Hello, everyone. Howdy, and welcome back to another Appsmith live episode. How are you doing? I'm doing great today. Extremely excited to have one of our customers who is also an important member of our community on Discord. But before we introduce him, don't be shy. Say hello on the chat while we get more people connected to the live stream. I'm Kevin Blanco, Senior Developer Relations Advocate here at Appsmith, and your trusty guide to unlocking the potential of internal enterprise apps. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are constantly publishing new videos every week so that you are equipped with everything you need to learn in order to build incredible, secure, robust, enterprise ready AppSmith applications. Hey everyone, we have our first big event of the year coming up. That's right, we have the Appsmith Build event and it's happening next March 19th and 20th. In this event, you will learn how modern low code development and AI are empowering the next generation of high impact internal applications. Also, you will be able to get hands on building AI interactions, enterprise application extensions, multi step workflows, and custom UI elements. Also, we have an amazing lineup of speakers. Just to get you excited, here are some of the featured speakers for this event. So, RSVP right now, go to appsmith.com. You will see a banner on the very top of the website, and it is completely free. All right. We are really excited to have our big guest today. Oscar Santana is the Chief Technology Officer. That's right, the CTO of ART Fertility Clinics. ART is a global leader in fertility treatments and research, operating clinics across multiple regions in the Middle East and India. As you can imagine, managing data across a distributed operation is not an easy task. ART was facing significant bottlenecks in consolidating data from various systems to streamline operations, which slowed down their decision making and intact regeneration process. But the team at ART was determined to find a better way, and that's when they discovered Appsmith. By leveraging Appsmith's powerful local platform, ART was able to integrate and transform data from multiple sources into unified systems, allowing their teams to be more productive and spend more time on value added analysis. We'll hear directly from Oscar about the challenges ART was facing, why they choose Appsmith, and the organizational benefits they've realized. Also, he will showcase how Appsmith accelerated their ability to unify data from regional clinics, improve data access for doctors and researchers, and enable faster analysis and reporting. So, get ready and well, thank you so much, Oscar, for your time. I know you are one of our key community members. We always see you live, your comments and your feedback is always super valuable. And for me, having you today here is extremely, extremely great. So, Oscar, first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you so much, Kevin, for the invitation. And well, I am more than happy to help as much as possible to AFMIT and to provide any support to the AFMIT community, of course.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, let us know who is Oscar. Before talking about the case study of your work in fertility clinics, first of all, let us know who you are, what your trajectory is, what have you been working on.
Yes, of course. I am from Venezuela. I have right now, like, I would say 20 years working as a software developer. My career is systems engineer. So I started, my first job was in a bank. So I learned how to develop using a mainframe called AS400 by IBM. And at some point, after like 2, 3 years, I worked 4 years on that environment. And after
Mhm.
those 4 years, I decided at some point that I don't want it to be working always in a bank. Because if I was still doing that job, that will be the only future working in AES 400. So I
Right.
tried to look for solution at that moment was Visual Basic 6, was that like the common thing in my country, Visual Basic 6, Fox Pro, and I wanted to learn some visual development. And at that time, I found, I'm talking about like the year, I think 2003, 2003, yes. I found a solution called Velasquez Visual, which is right now the name of that solution is Belneo, but it was called Velasquez Visual at the time, and they talk about themselves like at the first 100% visual development solution
Mm,
without writing any code. And I was like, I cannot believe it. Then I
mm,
found that it was free to download. All the software was in Spanish, documentation. It's a Spanish company indeed. And I decided to jump on that. It was a leap of faith, if you call it, because I was the first one. I was in Venezuela. I'm talking about a lot of years with bandwidth at like no more than 2 megabytes or something like that. And at that time, that solution was fully workable for Windows. And that was my first touch with what we call right now low code. And that was like an arrow that hit me. At the beginning, I couldn't get it because when you get into low code, you need to change your chip. It's a different way to develop. It's a different approach how to understand the solutions and everything. And Velasquez Visual at that time, now Belneo, works completely different. So the term low code didn't exist, but at that time I started jumping into that. So my career went into becoming then later a independent developer. Then Velasquez Virtual turned into Belneo. I worked then with another company in Venezuela that I was using Belneo software developer, so they hired me for my expertise and being the only one in the country. Then at some point that didn't work, not because of me, because of the product and the different situations. And Belneo approached me to be the consultant for Latin America. So whenever a new developer approached to Belneo and wanted to get the initial approach, the initial training, like a consultant at the beginning, they were referring those clients to me. So I was in contact with them, teaching them. And that brought me to Natural Soft, which
mm,
was a big leap that gets me into the healthcare environment. I'm talking about the year 2015, when at Natural Soft, which is a company dedicated to medical software, two medical softwares in particular, one for hospitals and one for IVF clinics, which is what I'm doing right now.
mhm,
They were looking for a senior developer that wanted to go to Granada in Spain and work with them. So in Spain, there is a lot of Belneo developers, but everyone was more or less occupied,
mhm,
or they didn't want to go to Granada. So Belneo talked about me to the CEO of Natural Soft. He interviewed me, and 2 weeks after I was landing in Spain, and that was 6 years of amazing growing. I started as a support and junior developer, and by the end, I was practically the product manager of BRePro, which is the IVF software.
mhm,
So how I got to ART is because at the end, we were doing a big customization for the software we had there for ART, and I jumped into that personally a lot. I put all my efforts. I was one of the few of who speaks English, so I came here to UAE. I did the work with them. I worked very close with them for a year to make it is what right now it is. So after that, a proposal come from the my actual CEO, like, okay, please, we need a CTO, and we can see you have what it takes,
mhm,
and that's how I came here. But during all the trajectory, everything I just was looking for is to keep growing into the local.
mhm.
So that is why, and we will talk about later, how when I found Appsmith, I found it like the natural thing to get. No.
Right. Well, that's amazing. First of all, you have a very large trajectory, and like even obviously larger than mine, working with mainframes and all those things that you mentioned for IBM. I heard about those, but never got the chance to work with those. Like my first programming language was Pascal and
Mm,
Java, but I never had the chance to work with older technologies like that. So definitely, you have a big trajectory that you can actually understand the benefits of a no-code solution versus like the standard or traditional software development. Um,
definitely.
and that's for sure something that we're going to be talking about. So now that we know a little bit who is Oscar and your trajectory, can you provide us a little bit more overview what the ART Fertility Clinic is? What type of challenges do you had? What type of things are you doing there with Appsmith? In just a global overview, and then we can touch base on more technical depths, maybe.
Yes, of course. So Art Fertility Clinics is a group of clinics dedicated to IVF, and not only dedicated to, well, IVF is in vitro fertilization, so means that it helps people that naturally have difficulties to get pregnant and to become parents to achieve that goal. Um, and let's say that our fertility clinics is not only dedicated to that, to the goal that, okay, a couple comes, want to get pregnant. They also invest a lot of time and all of the professionals behind for research and investigation. So our fertility clinics indeed is one of the clinics here in the UAE and in the world that write a lot of papers, and they do a lot of research, investigations, studies. They make a lot of science. It's not only the clinic, it's the science also behind. So in fact, in the year 2023, we earned our fertility clinics earned a certificate by the um, Department of Health of Abu Dhabi as one of the clinic with more papers, I will say, written or published in the scientific community. So this is amazing because it means a lot, and
Right.
especially in relation with the data, how the data is treated, how the data is saved, stored, organized, how to approach the cases, and yeah, that's an overview of what is art fertility clinics.
Great. And you have, well, the ART fertility clinics already have like locations in different areas in the Middle East and India, right? Like it's not just one
Yes.
location; it's actually spread
No,
across
no, no.
multiple
We have
countries.
exactly. We have in the Middle East. We have three clinics. In the main one, the headquarters, the one in which my office is in Abu Dhabi. We have
Mhm.
another clinic in Dubai, and we are currently in the construction of a new clinic in Alain, which is another city in the Abu Dhabi Emirate. And in
Nice.
India, we're talking about 8 locations between Delhi, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Chennai. Eight clinics and spread the whole geography of India.
Nice. So that's super interesting. So before we continue with the conversation, I want to share a QR code for everyone who's watching because we have our written case study for the RRT Fertility Clinic in our website that you can read further about some of the different use cases, some of the implementations, like more in depth. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at our website. You can scan the QR code and you will be able to go directly to that specific case study, or also you can find it in our website under the case studies menu section. Um, Oscar, what prompted you to seek a solution like Appsmith for the erectile fertility clinic, and how did you came across our platform?
Okay, so when I got to art fertility clinics, I experimented a big change.
Hmm.
Why? Because as I told you before, I was working always in software companies. I mean, I was part of a bank, but I was in the development department.
Hmm.
But then later on, I was independent, and then I was a consultant. Then I work in different companies where we were the unit that makes the money, right?
Hmm.
So if we found a new technology, if there is a new tool that need to be tested, especially in my previous company, I just went to the CEO and I said, look, there is this technology, can we test it? He immediately put out the credit card, and of course, let's do it. Why not? We're going to make money with this at the end of the day. But when I came here, it's different. You are not the make money unit. You are in the back end. You provide support.
Right,
People will come to you, and I mean, it's not a despective way to say it, but you are a cost center.
right.
You are, you don't provide any ROI. It's
Hmm.
not us. But if IT is not there, things are not working, right?
Right.
So there is two approaches. When I got into the clinic, there was an amazing thing which is still working with me, but there was no the position of the CTO as it is, like someone who takes the lead, who takes the other team members and, hey guys, let's go, we can do this. They fell a little bit without that. So when I got there, it was amazing. And then I found the biggest changes. What is the biggest challenges? The IT team there was dedicated more to the typical IT issues,
Hmm.
computer, server, networking, um, in regarding to software. But the maximum thing that we can do is, if we have a third party application, is provide the basic support, right? There
Hmm.
is nothing we can do. For example, here we use our main application, BitRepro. It's not ours. We don't have access to the backend of that. So we have tools that they gave us to provide support, like getting some information, generate some reports, export data, but that's it.
Hmm.
Um, but then when I came, we found a lot of challenges. For example, I remember the first thing why we use Appsmith, and this is an application that we call it our baby because it was the first one, was a department that is in charge of writing the medical documentation, right? So they need to transcribe, medically speaking, certain actions that happen in the clinic. So one day I find out how they were doing it, and it was crazy. The ladies came early in the morning, connected to the system, download, make certain search in the application, which is easy. You don't need to be technical to do that, but you need to perform those queries to call it in a way. Click, download them, put it into Excel, clean a little bit the data, and then they like create a work list and they work with that. So if you put all that together, we're talking about 45 minutes to 50 minutes for they to prepare that data to start working. And some of those things were not easy to find. You needed to dig a little bit into the database. Okay, maybe here, if it's not in this table, I will go to this screen, and from this screen to this screen. So it was a little bit confusing. So one of the advantages is that I know the database of BRepro perfectly. Like I was part of it for the last 6 years.
Mhm.
And BRepro has something amazing, which is an API, a JSON REST API that we can simply select which are the fields that we want, the queries that we want to run. So we came with a simple idea. What about if we get this data? So I started to use my stack that I'm doing using right now, which is NAN, NoCoDB, and Appsmith. So what about if with NoCoDB, with NAN, we get that data automatically at night instead of the ladies to do it. So at night, I know what happens during that day. So next day they can work with that.
Mhm.
Then I said, okay, to make a workly, we need to store it in a way. Okay, so let's store it in NoCoDB because I don't need to store too much. I just need to store 5 fields and maybe put a checkbox. Done, done, done. Okay, now I need to show it. That came the challenge. So before that, I start looking for open source solutions. Why? Because as I was telling you, I don't have a lot of budget. So I said, look, I need something that I can implement quick, fast. If it's open source, fine, and and local because it's natural for me, right?
Mhm.
So googling, I got with you. I got with my friend. What is his name? I forgot him.
Confidence.
Yes, with the videos of confidence. I remember watching at that 100 seconds video of what you can do with Asmin. I was looking at it and say, no, no, I don't think so. Right? And it's open source. No, 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 I don't think so. So I put that, and before the idea of the baby, because when we got the solution to put it into the database, so I say, okay, now we need to show it. I consumed all the videos that I could of confidence at night when I came here at home. I was, in YouTube taking a look at it. Okay, how this looks. Okay, papa, let's do it. I tried at the beginning. I got some stocks, but then I said, no, this can be done. So one of the team members I have was good with servers. So I asked him to please implement this in one server, and he installed a Docker. Because at the beginning, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know too much about Docker, anything of this. I was very focused on what Belneo is.
Mhm.
And Belneo is a full stack application. It has everything. It's a low code, but it has everything, the database, everything.
Okay.
So, but I am not afraid of learning. So I asked one of my team members to implement this solution. Once it was installed, I start playing around, right? Like putting things and drag and dropping and see how it goes. And after 4 days, more or less, we got the screen view, and the people who start using it, and they told us how they were saving time. So, I can tell more stories, but this is what
Mhm.
makes me look for these kind of solutions. Because during that day, as a CTO, I have another things to do. So I cannot dedicate time just to develop. I cannot sit like before and dedicate 1, 2, 3 days to fully develop. I need a solution that I can, okay, this is the problem. This is the data source, which is there already organized because the solution is good. And I need to show it in a different way. Perfect. Absent what the perfect solution, right?
Yeah, that's great to know how you landed. And big shout out to our friend Confidence.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he moved to another position and another company, but all his legacy can be found in YouTube. All of his videos
Yes.
can be found
Now
there.
you're doing
And
a great job continuing that legacy. So it's
that's
very
good
good.
to know. And actually, one of the things that Confidence did right before he left is he built the entire getting started course, which you can now find in our YouTube channel. There is a dedicated playlist, and that is perfect for anyone who maybe doesn't know anything about Appsmith, right? We're trying to build tutorials more advanced, but also trying to understand for those who are trying to use Appsmith who have never used it. So we just launched a 10 video course, which is like getting started from the basics. What is Appsmith? How to build a simple to-do app, how to create a list, how to delete, edit, modify, connect to a data source, etc. So I definitely encourage everyone who's watching this and have never used Appsmith or is just starting with Appsmith to definitely check out the Getting Started course, and which is one of the last legacies that Confidence left us, and it's an incredible journey from nothing to an actual Appsmith production application.
Amazing.
So when it comes to the different applications that now you're doing at internally at RT, because I know you're doing more than just the one that you mentioned, and I'm actually curious that you can explain to us a little bit about that the app you mentioned that you're actually using in the screens of the physical clinics to control like the appointments and who's going to which doctor. But can you highlight some very specific pain points or bottlenecks that you had, and how Aspid had been solving all of those problems within your organization?
Yeah, yeah. Look, many of the situations of the bottlenecks, if we call it in that way, is for certain kind of users or for certain departments. They need to have a more simplified way to access the data, right? So again, this is not a big hospital or something. It's a clinic. It's an inpatient space. We open at one time and we close at certain day or time of the day. We don't have ER or everything. So don't expect that we have a big technology stack. I'm talking about like we don't have our Postgres server with hundreds. No, no, this is not like that. We have a very good solution, which is our main application, which is the BREAP application that controls and handles everything related to the clinic, like from the appointments, studies, medical data, documents, uploads, even our CRM. Of course, we have another applications in the middle. But um, so what is the thing? Sometimes there are some departments that need to access the data in a more faster way, in a more simplified way. So, for example, how this first application that we did, the medical transcription, yes, the information is there in the system. It's
Mhm.
not that it's not there, but it's not that easy to access. You need to navigate too much to get it. So with an API, we were able to put it out, and with Appsmith, we were able to put everything in just one web view, very simple, with a grid, with a checkbox where you can mark, and without touching the data. I am not touching the data. I am doing something in the middle. So, for example, then came the solution that at one point, one of the medical managers came to me and said, "Hey, look, yes, BRepro has a beautiful agenda, like the Outlook agenda, where you can see the spots and everything. But if you want to see what is happening right now, it's not easy to see, right? Because you have different colors and everything." So came the idea of generating this dashboard where we can see in real time who was appointed for today, who is in the waiting room, and the times and signs if they are spending more time, and if they are in the medical office and if they leave. So we have a full view that is running with just one API.
Mm.
With just one query that we're doing to be repro, and then using the JavaScript and everything, we're doing the filters.
Okay.
So, and like this, we came with more solutions for departments, for example, to access some screens in the repro that, let's say, like the screen in the application has certain columns that is relative for the people that normally in the system use that screen. So they need to see these columns. But
Mhm.
imagine I am from another department. I am from the insurance department. What I need to see is not the same thing that is visible there. So if I want to, for example, okay, I know in the IVF laboratory model, I can see this patient, but if I want to see the insurance of this patient, okay, the information is not in that grid. I need to double click, open the file, go to the patient, and then I see the insurance of this patient, for example.
Mhm.
Well, we did another web view with Appsmith where we get the same grid, but using the API of BRepro, I can navigate and then show in those columns exactly what that department needs to see. So
Mhm.
you are avoiding them to make hundreds of clicks. And like this is the typical example we have, or the typical idea. The users, they have their issues and they say, what is the first thing come to their minds? Oh, I put an Excel, we share it between us, and let's do some modifications in parallel. Yes, that works for a few records. When the things start growing and more people start to enter into that Excel, more issues we have. So now we have applications in Appsmith that generates the workflow for each one of them. And now each one of them only can edit whatever they need to edit and not everything. With control, we are saving all that information in a database. We are saving who's the user, who's touching it. We are saving the status in which that thing goes. So yeah, that's the bottlenecks, is the easy access to the data,
Right.
and some ex- extracting that data into another layer where we can manipulate it for daily operations.
Yeah, and at the end, that's just saving time, and saving time is saving costs. And at the end, I
Exactly,
think that's one
exactly.
of the biggest challenges for any IT leader, which is, and actually, I don't know if this happened to you, but for me, when I came from a developer background, when I was a developer, all I cared at that moment when I started to develop is like the actual quality of the code and how can I use the best framework or the best technology and the structure of the code. But when you're growing in a more leadership position or a more like C-level position, you have to understand that you have goals to achieve, you have a budget to maintain, and also try to go to market the fastest we can and try to provide to your older executives in a faster manner. So Appsmith actually provides that, and you actually mentioned how easy it is for you to prototype things for when people are asking things.
Yeah,
Instead of spending weeks, you should spend 2 hours or even a day, and you
exactly,
have a prototype ready for
exactly.
your
And
members.
this is what you mentioned is very important, Kevin. Is like with Asmid, and this is what I learned also from all the low code platform that I came from, and this is why let's say what I love Apps that much is because it saves me time, right? I don't need to focus on what is in build behind, what is the framework. No, I just know it works. Because I have to say, one of the things why I jump and select Appsmith and over another ones that I saw is because I saw the community behind. I saw that you have a paid plan, so it means, okay, if there is a paid plan, there is someone who's paying for this, which is fine. So there will be another ways for me to help to the community, which I am always open. And if this is the possibility to at some point jump to the paid plan, I will be happy to do it. But right now I can't, right? So that gives me a big background. I say, okay, this solution is not just two freelancers. We don't know who where, and we don't know what they are doing if they are checking with my data. So focusing in the solutioning, put solutions to those problems instead of what is the techie behind. I don't care. I
Exactly.
just know that I just put it there. I drag some things. JavaScript, fine. If I don't know something in particular, because I maybe don't remember anything, of course, it's a simple function. I don't need to write a big logic behind, just a
Mhm.
function to do something in particular to filter some data. We have Google, we have ChatGPT, now we have Appsmith AI. So you
Right.
are even making it more simple. So yeah, that's the main thing, no? The specific how to save time, focus in the business, focus in solve problems, because this is what you need to do. When you are in this position, you need to solve problems. People come to you with problems, and once they see that you are able to solve them, they're coming with you with that hope, like, look, I have this problem, I hope you can help me.
Right. And what's the size of your team?
Right now, well, that is something also amazing. When I started doing this, I started, let's say, the development part only by myself.
Mhm.
My IT team is not that big. It's we have in here in the UAE, I have one, let's say, one team dedicated to infrastructure,
Mhm.
means everything related to hardware, network, connection, servers, etc. And which is two guys, the manager and assistant manager, and
Mhm.
another team which is dedicated to the software and integration. So they are the ones in charge of support to the software if anything is not working, if there is we need to modify some reports. Now with Appsmith, for example, there is one of the managers, Swapna, who helps me a lot in testing, because she's an amazing QA. So she said, "You hate me, boss." I said, "No, I don't hate you. I love you because you break everything, which is
Right.
amazing." So she tests all the applications, how it works, and she have her assistant. But after a few months, I went to the CEO and I said, "Look, I'm starting to do all these things, but I cannot dedicate me to. I cannot put all the time into this. So
Mhm.
right now, I have another team. a small team of two guys also. They are fully focused on develop local solutions. So I have right now two guys, Bharat and Kartik. They work dedicated to this solution. So now when we have a new requirement, they are the ones who do it. Of course, sometimes I create the backend because it depends. I change the database depending on what I need to do. If I
Mhm.
need something very robust, I use Belneo as back a database because we have
Mhm.
our own license of Belneo. So I use it as a database. I put it as the tables. I set the APIs, and then they build the whole infrastructure, the whole front end in Appsmith on top. For
Okay.
some other things, we use NocoDB. It depends of what we're doing, right? And yes, they are the ones building or the application. So the size of the team, I will say about here in the UAE, we are two, four, six, seven, and in India another seven. We will say 14 to 15.
Right. Well, that's great. See that it started with you, and now you have a team that is actually supporting you and working with Appsmith alone. Um, One thing you mentioned, and I wanted to touch base a little bit further on that area because I do know that some customers and some people might be interested in the automation or workflow type of things. There's actually on our website, in our blog, an article on how to use AppSmith with N8N. N8N, that's the name of the product. It's an automation workflow type of product, which you can actually connect with AppSmith very simply. But also,
Yes, that's
uh,
amazing.
it is. And also, we have workflows, which is going to be an actual feature that abstracts pretty much the same stuff that RNA achieves, but internally within AppSmith. So it means that in the very close future, we're talking about the end of March, you will be able to start using workflows internally within
Oh,
AppSmith without
very
having to
nice.
go to another product. But we get along with RNA very nicely, so that's cool. I just wanted to if you can, I just wanted to ask you if you can share a bit about the automation things that you have right now, and what type of goals are you achieving with that, and how you're integrating NN8 or any other platform that you have in your current infrastructure.
Yes, look, we have several type of automations. For example, we have an automation that runs every day to send SMSs
Mm.
to the patients that will come next day, saying, "Hey, Mister, remember you have tomorrow an appointment in this clinic at this time for this concept. Please bring this document and whatever." So this is an automation that is running. We have an automation that sends a WhatsApp after the first consultation, asking and sending you a form where you just fill the information, and then we have an AppsMe dashboard that show the graphics of those results so the managers can see that. We have automations to get data, as I'm telling you, for example, for this application, every night get some information, store it in a local server, and then show it in different places. I mean, automations for many things, automations for integrate systems. This is one of the main things we do with NAN. We integrate systems. For example, we have a call center system and we have our ERP system, I mean, the repro system.
Mhm.
So when in the call center, someone is willing to uh, ask for an appointment, they call it in that system is called dispositions. When the disposition is the correct disposition, then that call center triggers a webhook that we created in NAN. So send some information to NAN processes and save it into vRepro. So we have that connection. And more automations right now, we are creating a very nice integration with a solution for digital signature. So it's very nice because the front end we are doing it completely in Appsmith. So
Nice.
Appsmith is the one who's getting the information from the because something that we were able to do, and this is thanks to the BRepro team that is very close to me, and we work together.
Mhm.
Is because there is a way in Belneo to embed websites, and when we do that, it's similar to Appsim when you can have imagine the custom widget and you can send things to the custom widget. So Belneo can do the same. Imagine you have a Belneo screen, which is a widget screen. It's not Belneo is not web based. It's a
Mhm.
solution. It's a client server. But one of the objects inside is HTTP viewer, but you can send parameters to
Mhm.
that object from the other object. So we found a way to implement that solution that we embed applications into that, and it looks like you're working in vRepro. Why? Because if you open the patient file, that sends me the internal ID, and I get it
Mhm.
in Appsmith with the appsmith.url query params, and
Right.
I'm able to run a query to the same database with that particular ID and generate the screen that I want for that patient. So for the user, it's like they are using BitReaper. So with that, we are making, for example, this integration with the digital signature. So we will avoid copy pasting names or something, will be automatically done. So yeah, automations, we have many of these that you're saying. Reports, we send a lot of report for management that runs a
Mhm.
cron job made all in NAN. Get the data, generate, and send emails to wherever is needed.
Awesome, that's great. And like I mentioned, you will be able to do all of these things in the very near future, as workflows is something that
Amazing.
a lot of customers have been
I
asking
will test
because
it, believe me.
you already have the data sources in AppSmith. You already have a certain amount of logic in AppSmith, whether if it's a JavaScript, file or something like that, and all you need is just a mechanism to make the automation. So that's why this is a key feature that we're launching very, very soon.
Very good.
Oscar, so we have other features that have been launching, like AppSmith AI, now the reusable packages which are coming along, and custom widgets we just launched a few weeks ago. I wanted to ask you how you envision AppSmith playing a role in the future of RT fertility clinics. As you know, you already have all of these systems. Do you envision yourself utilizing these features like AppSmith AI to maybe analyze information from your customers, or maybe analyzing information about how you're achieving your appointments or anything like that that can help you improve
Yes,
your internal organization?
yes,
Like,
yes.
is there anything you can share with us that maybe you envision in the future AppSmith can use as a baseline that what you already have using AppSmith?
Yeah, yeah. There are few things that we when we find out that Appsmith AI was there and I was working locally. I like literally I was next. I remember I was next to Swapna, and when I saw that, I said, "Hey, this is working here, and this is not
Mhm,
going outside. This is staying. Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" So immediately she threw me some ideas. She said, "Look, the first thing that we can do is database for because we have a lot of policies.
mhm,
There is a lot of documentation of policies from A, B, C, the IT, security. There is a lot of policies, and we have all well documented.
mhm,
So one of the ideas that we have is generate. We have an application where we will put this PDF as the sources, so the users can say, "Look, I want to find out what is the policy to, for example, block the USB in the PCs." So
mhm,
we just put it there, and the expectation is that that give us back something.
mhm,
So that is one of the things that we want to do. Another one that we want to do it's for our call center agents to create a PDF with more or less the all the frequent asked questions,
mhm.
and try to create a simple interface to them to use because we tested already. Like what we did internally between us is we got an SQL PDF very big that we have, and I did a very simple application in less than half an hour that make
Mhm.
an SQL question, and I gave the prompt, and it's giving us the answers back. So we say yes, this definitely will help us.
Yeah.
So this will be one of the big things. And then related with the data, yes, I want to play more. Like, okay, look, with this set of data, especially related things related to marketing. I don't want to get into the medical part. Marketing,
Mhm.
appointments. Maybe when I get the feedbacks, because I got those feedback, I can get the feedbacks. Try to see how the AI is going. The thing is, right now, for sure that will come because
Mhm.
we really want to get into that. Right now, we are focusing in like two, three applications right, that are very critical, and all of them made in Asmith. So we are finishing those things. But the AI is something that we can see it for sure.
Yeah.
And the packages, I found it amazing. Why? Because right now with the team that I have, sometimes we need to modify something, or sometimes something that I saw when Nikhil was explaining that for me was amazing because I was saying, now imagine we have certain types of queries that are more or less the same for
Mhm.
different tasks. So what we're doing right now, we create another app and we just go to the existing one, we copy, we paste it, right? So what
Right.
happens is that API changed. So I need to remember now in which application it was. With this, we can centralize this as a resource. Believe me, when I saw that, I was saying, yes, this
Yes.
is very nice because now we can have packages like with the basic things that we know we're going to use. Oh, we need
Yeah.
to create an application. In that application, we were using, for example, a validator, a filter, a JSON that was able to do this, this, and that, or maybe this kind of query. Now we can put that in a package, right? This is how I understood. I think is
Exactly.
the right thing. So that is amazing. So all this feature, believe me, is something that is coming that I am pretty sure we're going to use.
Yeah, and in case someone missed last week live event that we have with Nikhil, it was the community call, and he shared some of the things that we're launching, and one of those was actually reusable packages, which I think I still have like a screenshot here. But at the end, it's just a mechanism that you can have. It's not an application; it's reusable things like queries to your databases, like JavaScript objects, and they can receive parameters from many applications. So, for example, in the screen right now, I'm showing a query to a Postgres database that get users by country, and it's going to be receiving the country as an input variable. So you will be able to reutilize this query on multiple applications by just calling that package. And then whenever you bring that package, you will see something like this, which is basically it understands that, oh, this reusable query, it expects a country as an input, and you can pass a value using interpolation or using like the bindings from the text widget or from another place, and that way you can reutilize that specific query. Now, what Oscar mentioned is definitely great, because if by some reason you need to modify this query or the API changes, you just
You
change it
modify it
once,
once.
and everywhere you were using it, you just have it the change. So that's going to be another key change that I know you're probably going to be using, and a lot of the customers will
Yeah.
do as well.
Believe me. I will share it with Bharat, which is the team leader of the development and team, and he's always happy to R&D, because this is something. When I got this new team, I say, guys, look, this is a weird position. This is
Mhm.
because when I look for the position, it was low coder, so very weird. And it's not that we are not developing things. We are here, and ideas will come. People will come with problems. So we will sit. We will organize. So sometimes, for example, when the custom widget came, I went to the other guy, Kartik, and I said, Kartik, look, this is the video. This is example. Play with it.
Play with
Just play with
it.
it. And let's see what we can get. Right now, I don't have any idea or what we will use,
Mhm.
right? But learn it. And they are very happy to learn all these things. And they are doing a very good job. Like the whole team is doing an amazing job.
Excellent. Well, that's great to hear. Before we kind of be closing this conversation, because we have been for almost 40 minutes, I wanted to ask you if you can share with us a little bit about and I know I already asked for it, but it's just that it gets me excited to understand that Appsmith is not only being used like in the standard ecosystem in a web browser, but used in a different way, and how you can utilize Appsmith for other things that are just the standard way. Because, like you mentioned in the example you said that you are embedding Appsmith in another software, and it has the capabilities to receive parameters. That's a creative way over there of using Appsmith. But the ones you mentioned about using AppSmith for like in the actual physical clinics to control like the appointments, can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, like what we're doing there is a very simple. It's a screen where we show like a I will say like a canvas,
Hmm.
a Kanban, sorry, with four columns. The columns are patients scheduled for the day, the patients that are already in the waiting area, patients that started the consultation, and one column with the people that already left. Right. So it's four list widgets, which of them they have some particularities. For example, in the widget of the people that is booked, we can see only the ID of the patient, because we cannot show even the names inside the clinic, just the ID of the
Hmm.
patient. We show at what time that patient suppose was booked, and if more than 15 minutes pass, a blue triangle is going to be showing. So
Mm.
with visibility conditions, we're able to show that. So we know that that patient is late. In the same area, when we go to, and that screen, we put it in a TV. We just
Hmm.
simple and smart TV. We put the URL, and we put it with an interval of every 2 3 minutes. Is refreshing the screen automatically, because I have this amazing interval thing, which I learned with a video of confidence, and now I use it a lot. So this thing is refreshing every 3 minutes automatically, so no one needs to touch the TV. TV is
Right.
there doing everything by itself. Then the second column, the same thing when the patient arrives, because what happens? The people, the users interact with the repro. For example, when you have an appointment, the
Hmm.
patient actually goes to the front desk and say, "Look, this is Oscar. I'm Oscar. I have an appointment." So they found it in the system and changed the status to at waiting room. At some point, we changed it. They changed the status at medical office, and at what point we change the status as finish.
Hmm.
So that view, what it's doing is just getting all the appointments of the day and organizing by the different status.
Nice.
So because BeRepro also save at what time you arrive, at what how many minutes. So for example, if you arrive and you have more than 10 minutes, then a green triangle appears in your tag. If
Mm,
you more than 15, then you have a yellow triangle, more than 20, a red triangle. So
mhm.
that gives operational people, if you have someone there with the red triangle, let's go and speak with them and tell, hey, whatever, sorry, excuses for this.
Right.
And then when they leave, we see how many time the people spend it in the clinic. So this is
Nice.
very nice because is visible, is a view of what is happening.
Mhm.
And the same idea we are using now for another application that we are preparing for some kind of operation. So we did a module for each of the departments, but then right now we're doing one dashboard with the different status of that particular process that managers can see. So certain managers can go and say, okay, I know this team is doing A, B, C, and D, but what is the status of the kitchen? Not like McDonald's. Really, what is the burger? Is in this
Right.
status in which it's moving or not, which is fine. And then I want to share with you another amazing thing that we were able to do with Appsmith and
Okay.
using the parameters. When we started to do this, what was the the thing that we give to the user? It was a URL, right? That's
Mhm.
that's how you give the application. At some point, we need to control that. How many URLs we have around? Who's using
Mhm.
it? What is what for? What if the user leave? The good thing is everything is in our server, so no one can come in from the outside. But
Right.
how we do that? So we came with an idea of create a Belneo application where we store all our users and we create a table called apps and a table called users and a
Mhm.
relational table where we have which users can access to which apps. So in that table in the users apps, we put the URL of that application and the option to add parameters.
Mm.
So then Bharat and his team created a Flutter Flow app, a portal that read from your Microsoft 365 automatically, so you don't need to remember anything because we use Microsoft 365,
Mhm.
and goes to that build name application, right? Loads the applications that you have with the URL, and every time you click, it opens AppSmith on the right with the user you are doing. So now with that, we're able to execute AppSmith applications, and if there is something you are doing, we know it was you doing it. So we are logging
Exactly.
that information. If you have certain permissions, so you
Mhm.
can now we create a set of logics for permission. So we show one button or not or whatever. So this is something that we're doing, and I like it a lot because now it's everything under control.
Right. So you're
We
you're
we we
auditing the app.
Yes, and also, for example, let's say we create this application for, I don't know, the bundles or the new things that we're doing or the medical transcriptionist. Right now, a
Mhm.
new person arrived to that team. So instead of going, tell her the URL, no, we just install the internal as portal, which is this one made in Flutterflow.
Mhm.
In our application, we say this user will have access to this and this URL, and this is the parameters. At the moment they open it, the options will be shown on the left. When they click on the right, the full AppSmith application will load to them automatically.
Mhm.
So they don't need to remember URLs, nothing. And we have a place where we can see who has access to who, to what, sorry. So this is very nice. I really, the power of the AppSmith URL query params
It's
is just
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, it's
Well,
amazing.
it's incredible to see how in 45 minutes you share with us so many applications you have built internally with AppSmith that, and I know there are other more. So it's great to see an actual like company using it for so many use cases, and that's the beauty of AppSmith and how you can implement it for multiple use cases. Obviously, we understand some of the use cases that a lot of companies has, but as you can see with
Mhm.
creativity like what you just mentioned about having this like audit and embedding into Belneo and etc, like you can do a lot of things with apps because it
Yeah.
gives you the control to self-hosted, which is I know that you're self-hosting on your own servers, you're having it privately so no one can access the information, you can control, you can connect it to your databases internally if that's the case, if you need private connection. So it is solving so many cases in one single umbrella that that is definitely amazing.
Yes.
Oscar, any closing words that you want to say to our audience? Maybe a developer who's trying AppSmith, or in general terms that you want to say about your experience with AppSmith?
Yes, for sure. First of all, don't get disappointed if you spend like you try to do something like this at the beginning and you cannot figure it out how to do it. Just watch the videos, because
Mhm.
you guys, something that you guys have and it's amazing is the big database of videos, the trainings with small details. Watch the documentation,
Mhm.
and believe me, you will find the answer then and there, and you will see how easy it is. And the most important thing is like Appsmith. One of the reasons I selected above another ones beyond the community and the things that I explained it before, I forgot to mention this, is how easy it is to install it and make it run. It's
Mhm.
even for someone like me who was completely newbie in Docker, it was
Right.
so easy to just make it run. And you can have one instance of Appsmith running in literally 5 minutes
Right.
with the Docker, Visual Docker. So this is something that I will encourage people to don't be afraid. The team behind Appsmith is amazing. And I think it's a solution that will solve many problems. But I also going to be honest. Don't try to expect that one solution will solve all your problems.
Right.
You need to figure out in what AppsMeet is good and exploit that, because that's the main thing, right? If you have a solution that is good for a database, exploit the database. So I don't
Exactly.
expect to make games with AppsMeet. It's not what it's for. It
Right.
has a goal. It has a particular way to work. If you know and you learn which is the field in which AppsMeet can help you, go for it, because believe me, it will help you and solve a lot of situations.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much for our advice. And coming from an user, from an actual user that uses AppSmith in their day to day, it's extremely valuable because we try to create videos, we create content, and obviously coming from someone who works for AppSmith, you could say, well, yeah, I mean, they say it's a great platform because they work for it, but when I joined AppSmith, prior to joining, I was actually discovering AppSmith, and I built some stuff with AppSmith. I was like, "This is amazing! Like, why didn't I know about this before? Because it could have saved
Yeah.
me so much time." So coming from someone who actually uses AppSmith in a big company, in this case, a fertility clinic that is across multiple countries, that serves people actually in the physical offices, it's great to see and hearing all of those testimonials. I know that a lot of people will actually be interested in using AppSpeed for serious businesses, as other companies like Dropbox, AWS, GSK are using also. So Oscar, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's a bit late for you
Most
in Abu
welcome.
Dhabi, but yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Anything for the admin community. Whatever I can do to pay back, I will more than happy to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Oscar. I hope you have a great day and, well, great rest of the day for you, which is the night, and for me, it's still in the morning. Have a great night, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Bye bye, everyone. And also reminding everyone to connect to our YouTube channel. Like Oscar mentioned, we have a lot of tutorials being published every week. We just launched the Getting Started tutorial. We have more videos around custom widgets and AppsMeet AI. So I encourage everyone to sign up and subscribe in our YouTube channel. And in case you want to read more about the ART Fertility Clinic case study, make sure to scan the QR code, go to our case studies page, because we have a lot of case studies on how companies are actually using AppSmith to go far and beyond. So thank you so much, everyone who joined today. We'll keep in touch. Next week, we have the release jam for March, and it's going to be packed with a lot of features that are coming up. And I remind you to sign up for the AppSmith Build event, which is going to be happening as well in March. And sorry, in April, and it's going to be having a lot of announcements, tutorials, trainings, special guests, and much more. So thank you so much for your time, and I see